Hello, I'm audible. Hello.
Yes, Vimarsh, you are audible. Right.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry.
So,
Has people joined?
yes.
Okay. Sorry guys. First of all, sorry for the delay. There were some technical difficulties at my end, and I hope this session brings you a good joy of learning regarding Git and GitHub. I have also created a PPT regarding because sometimes certain concepts we miss certain concepts. That's why going for it. Just give me a moment. Yes. Okay. So first of all, I'm kind of new to this taking the boot camp, so please bear with me,
Okay.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just so first of all, we're going to start with the Git and GitHub. Like, what is the difference and why
Let me
was it?
introduce first, then we can start the session.
Okay,
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 Vimarsh?
yeah, that
Yeah.
would be better. Yeah.
Yeah. So, good evening, everyone. This is Vishal from Cypher School. I hope you all are doing well. So, today's session is going to be very practical and valuable because you will be learning from one of the most important tools used by most of the developers, that is Git and GitHub, right? So, whether you are building your professional projects or collaborating with the team or preparing for your internship or for placement, Git and GitHub is an essential tool for every developer that you should know, right? And to guide us in this today's session, we have Vimarsh sir with us. So, hi Vimarsh, welcome to the session. So, could you
Hey,
please
hi.
introduce yourself to the students?
Yeah. So hello everyone. This is Vimarsh, currently working in the capacity of a mentor and software development engineer with CipherSchools, and so I have worked with backend for like 2 years, and I thought that academics was my forte. So here I am teaching you guys and learning as well. So that's all from my end. Yeah.
Thanks for the introduction, sir. So I'm sure like today's session is going to be very valuable and it will help the students to understand more about Git and GitHub and how these tools are actually used in the industry and how they can apply these skills in their own projects from today itself. So before starting, can I ask you one question if you allow me?
Sure. Go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So many students starts learning Git and GitHub, but very often they stop using them after a few weeks or few days. So according to you, what is the one habit or practice that student should follow consistently to become confident with the Git and GitHub and use them like professionals, developers?
Um, Ultimately, it comes to the usability of anything. So again, the thing is that if students are not diving towards the usage on the daily per daily basis, then it might mean something. One of the things that either they are not getting that usability from that
Hmm.
particular product, or it's something entirely that they might not be working on any project. But again, the thing
Right,
is,
sir.
why we are covering this is the same practical reason that it might not be usable right now for you, but it might be usable in upcoming future for you. Okay, that is the main intent towards this session as well, that if we are using this, if we are teaching this, then again, this is basically whenever you enter a company, you use this. So that is why we are going to take up this session. And if you are not using it, again, either it might be one of the two things: either you are lazy, you're not working on any project, or it can be one of the things that you might be hesitant, because ultimately everybody is hesitant with anything new. So yeah, so I hope that after this session you guys start working on the projects as well as you start using Git and GitHub.
मुझे भी याद आ रहा है जब मैं कॉलेज में था तो स्टार्टिंग में मैंने सीख लिया कि क्या होता है, कैसे हम पुश कर रहे हैं, कैसे हम कॉपी मर्ज ऑल दैट थिंग्स, बट स्लोली
Hmm.
स्लोली मैंने उस चीज को लाइक फॉलो करना छोड़ दिया, फिर लाइक लोकल मशीन पे रन कर रहा हूँ लाइक ऑल दिस थिंग्स.
Hmm. So the thing is that, hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, Umesh.
Okay. So the thing is that again, this session will be talking about what is Git and what is GitHub. Sometimes, initially, people confuse it that Git and GitHub are same thing, but they are
Hmm.
not. GitHub
Okay,
is
yes.
basically a cloud of taking GitHub repositories and projects, sorry, Git repositories, but Git is entirely different beast on its own. We are going to talk briefly about the history, what it pertains to, and why it came to being with the GitHub, associated with GitHub
Mm-hmm.
instead of doing a standalone thing. We are also going to look at that. But the thing is that, again, if you are working alone,
Mm-hmm.
okay, there is a room to experiment. But as
Yes.
you start working with other people, there are few dynamics which you have to take care of, and that those dynamics are being taken care of by your GitHub. Okay, not
Okay.
GitHub exactly, Git. Okay, so we are going to talk little bit about the dynamics, and personally, I felt whatever experience I had with these issues regarding the version control, that is Git,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be talking about them, and I will be sharing my experiences along the way, that whenever we are working, whatever we are going to do in this bootcamp. Yeah.
Okay, sir. So that's all from my side, sir. So without wasting any more time, it's over to you. You can start now.
Okay. Yeah. So, yes, hello everyone. So, I hope you got the gist of it. I've created simple slides so that you understand that what is going on in this whole session. Like, what are we dealing with? Okay. So, let me just upload this file so that afterwards, if you want to work with this, then you can use this. Although there are certain slides which are not needed for the perspective. Again, so it's your discretion. If you want to dive into it, you can go ahead and dive into it. Otherwise, it's up to you. Just a moment, it's processing. There's no disturbance from my end, right?
Right there.
Is there? Okay, I guess there's some delay from the. Okay, so is the slide visible? Is the PPT visible?
Not right now, sir.
Okay, just let it be. I'll just share it itself. Share the screen. Okay, PPT. Where is? I'll share the entire screen itself. Okay, so this session is about Git and GitHub Bootcamp. Okay, so just a basic fundamental stuff. Okay, now why does this matter? Again, whenever you are entering into the software industry, okay, whenever software industry doesn't mean that if you are AI student then it doesn't concern you. Basically, GitHub is how you interact with other developers in programmatical way. Okay, that is why we are talking about this. Okay, now why does this matter? Whenever you enter any company, you will be using this software anytime. It might be in some different form, maybe your user interface might be a little bit different, but ultimately, as I have seen, GitHub is the way to go for the current scenario. But internally, the logic Git always is there. It's always there. Okay, and Vishal, are the slides visible?
No, Vimarsh.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes, yes, yes. It's
Yeah,
loading now. Yes, we can see now.
it's loading. Okay,
Yes.
they are visible now.
Yeah, it's visible.
What do you see? Why this matter? Do you see why this matters?
No, I'm able to see Git and GitHub Bootcamp master the fundamentals like this.
Okay, I think there might be some delay at my end.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now it's visible. Learning outcomes,
Okay,
why this matters. Yeah.
okay. So learning outcomes, we will understand Git versus GitHub. We'll track code changes. We'll work with repositories, use branches, collaborate using pull request. I hope that I am able to show you this in this session itself, because this is where everything makes a stark difference. Okay. Now, the problem was that whenever you are trying to work with the software, okay, whenever you're working with the software and you're trying to push changes, uh, now tell me one thing. Uh, of course, you can't tell me anything, but Vishal, you will be my interactive point of interaction right now. So
Vimash, you can
tell me,
see the public chat in the section, in the comment section.
can I? I'm not sure. I can't see any. Okay,
Just
I
click
can
on
see the
comments. Yeah.
comments. Okay, okay,
Yes,
okay,
yes,
okay.
yes,
Great,
yes.
great, great. Sorry, guys. Again, new to the UI and stuff. So my
Koi
codes
baat
are actually saved in my PC. I need to know how to edit to GitHub. Okay, we'll get there. Good evening. Okay, I'm Groot. I think. Okay, so Danshu is here as well. Nice. Uh, okay. So coming back to the topic, if we are working with the software, there is our intrinsics and there are nuances which we have to take care of. Sometimes there are changes that need to be monitored. But if you just simply push updates, okay, the final software update, you will not be able to track the changes which have undergone. Okay, you'll not be able to track the code which has been changed. Okay, that is the reason. That was the reason Linus Torvalds, the founder of Linux Unix, okay, made Git. Okay, he made it so that he can track whatever changes he are doing as well as ask others to collaborate on it. That was the sole intent behind the Git creation of Git. And now coming back to the thing that why do we even need it? Again, the same thing. If you just only push updates as a developer, I will not be able to understand what was your psychology behind whatever update you have pushed or whatever fixes you have done. Just to create more transparency and to understand better that how things are going behind the scenes as a developer, I need to check what changes you have done. Okay, it's basically like your history, whatever you have done with the program. Okay, that is why the Git was used and it solves that chaos. Okay, now what is a version control? I keep on saying version control. Version control is just a tracker. What it does, it tracks what how the files are being changed behind the scenes, how the files are, what was modified, what was changed, along with proper comments. Again, it depends on the developer if they are giving the proper comments. So I request you, whenever we are doing these exercises, please do give proper comments. Okay, now the next, what is Git? Git is a version control. Okay, basically it tracks the
Hmm.
file change, it checks that whatever change is being done and gives us the result. Okay, what is the result? Basically it will tell you that this and this thing has been changed, this person or this developer has changed this particular aspect, etc., etc. Okay, basically just to track the changes and in case something breaks, to roll back. Okay, now what is GitHub? GitHub is basically a cloud. It is just a cloud which hosts multiple Git repositories. But why is it famous right now? It is only famous because it's a social media for the developers. Okay, their approach for this commercial product is that they have incentivized based on the social media platform. You can see a profile and etc., etc. So that is why GitHub is prevalent, and we are talking about it right now. Git versus GitHub. Simple, Git is a tool, GitHub is a platform. Git can exist without GitHub. Okay, so
So we were
let's leave
just
it.
curious
Hmm.
to know, like you just mentioned a line like get something without GitHub. So what does this line actually means?
Okay, so what I meant by it is that Git versus GitHub, people are often confused that Git and
Mm-hmm.
GitHub are kinda interchangeable. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Git and GitHub are kinda interchangeable. Can you block this Sudhanshu guy
No issues, no
if
issues.
possible? Can I? Is there a okay? So what I was saying, yeah. So Git is basically keep the slide in positive mode so for clear slide visible. Okay, just okay. So I guess yeah, continuing. Vishal, can you check if there's any proper like important question and you can just put it in studio chat? I'm not going to check the comments.
Sure,
Okay.
sure, sure.
Yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah. So GitHub. So Git versus GitHub basically means that whenever we are working with a Git. Okay, we are basically
Mm-hmm.
working with a version control. GitHub is a place to host the. So basically, let's take an album, photo album. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now photo album same as an image?
No.
It's not, right? So the order and the structuring where the image changed and how it is changed, those are those transparent sheets, right, where you put the
Right, right.
images and everything. So that
Mm.
is your Git. But is
Okay.
it the same as the whole album? No,
No,
it
no,
is not.
no.
That album
Yes.
contains multiple memories, different kinds of memories. So
Mm.
that is what Git and GitHub is. Okay,
Got it.
so Git is basically the flimsy thin transparent sheet where you are putting multiple photos, but each photo
Mm.
has its own tip kind of memory. Suppose you are maybe gone on a trip to Goa.
Mm.
You might have created some memories stacked one by one in that particular section. So
Mm.
that will be your project. That will be called your project, and those the thing which is containing it is all Git. And the whole
Okay.
collective where I'm hosting all of this is GitHub. Now
Got it. Got
album can be of any material, right? So there are
it.
multiple
Mm.
type of GitHubs as well. It is Git IEA, Gitea. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it wrong. There's multiple Atlassian, okay, and there are multiple company based GitHubs everywhere around. Like Salesforce has it. It uses its own GitHub, internal GitHub. Okay. So that is what is being done. Okay. If I think you got the synergy that why did I say Git versus GitHub?
Mm.
So there's a
Right.
clear cut difference. And I want everyone here whosoever is checking this session to remember that this is entirely different. These two are entirely different. Okay, so now this was a little bit trivia, and I hope everyone has a GitHub account, because if we start with it, then it will take some little bit more time. But I think that it's a simple process. You just have to go to github.com. Okay, just have to go to github.com. Just go there, and in right now I have logged in, so that's why you can see it. Otherwise, you can just simply go for you simply go to your profile and you can create a profile. Okay, it's simple as that, like basically creating your Google account. That's it, nothing else. Okay, and when you are done,
Sorry for
yeah,
interrupting, Vimarsh. Your screen is
yeah,
not
yeah, sure.
visible to us.
Actually, I have stopped the sharing for now.
Okay, okay, got it.
There's nothing to share. I'll start with the sharing. Just a little bit trivia on the first things, if
Okay.
you remember. If you
Mm-hmm.
screen is not visible. Yes, I have disabled the screen for a few moments. Just let me share the screen again. I hope the screen is visible to everyone. Visible? Just give me a heads up.
Not right now.
Get the filmmaking process itself, actors, directors work together in every change version of the movie's track.
Yes, it's visible now.
Okay. Yeah, Sudhanshu. Basically like a Netflix. Okay. I'll just switch to private chat again. Uh, okay, so just let me refresh it. So as I was trying some stuff out for the bootcamp repository, I'll just delete it. So we'll start with the whole thing with the deletion. So whenever you have created your account, you'll get something like this. Basically, not this decorated. Again, that's a README I have created. You can explore it
Mm-hmm.
on more. Okay, but as you go to the repository section, there you will get the bootcamp repository. Okay, just click on it. When you click on it, you'll get something like this. Okay, in the settings, if you want to delete any repository, just go at the very bottom and delete this repository. There are multiple options here. Again, I'm starting it a little bit in an unorthodox way. That so again, I'm not going to type the whole thing. Just deleting the old repository so that we can create a. Just give me a moment. I'll enter the code. Okay. So now what we are going to do, we are going to create our repository first. Okay. Okay, great. Everyone can see. First, we are going to create a repository. For that, just click on new. And in this, a boot bootcamp repository. Okay, in this is a basic bootcamp repo. Okay, now in this there are other multiple options. So basically this will be your name, the first name which you will
Mhm.
see every time whenever you uh, get to know get start with the repository. Okay, up to you, we can just put a hyphen here, but do remember that try to keep the separators using these hyphens. Okay, so that it's a industry standard and it is better that you follow the same methodology. Okay, now, in the visibility, it is up to you if you want to switch to public, if you want to switch to private. Okay, it is up to you. There is a README. Now, what is a README? README is basically a file which is introduction of your project. Okay, here you say whatever you want to describe a project as. So, if I give you an example of a README, then it will be this simple example. If I just open, so this also is basically a readme for my whole profile. This is also readme. As you can see that there's a readme.md, and
Right, right.
if I go on and edit it, you'll get the whole code. Okay, this is your this is the whole code which is working behind the scenes. Basically a simple code, nothing much. So that is your readme. And please, why am I stressing over it? Because whenever you start with any project, or whenever you showcase any project, this is the first thing they will look at. So basically, if nobody will be going through your code entirely at the in the very first go, if you want to secure a good job, if you want to show your portfolio in a better way, then you should go with the readme, and it should really convey whatever you're trying to express, how to run your application, what is happening behind the scenes, etc, etc. So basically, like patient management system was one of my projects, and here I've given it a basic touch up, that what is happening and what is the architectural flow behind it, what are the project structure, etc, etc. So basically what this is what readme uses. So it is up to us, if you want to add the readme right now, you can add it later as well. That is also an option there. There's a git ignore. Certain times we don't want to commit certain files so that it doesn't cause any issues. Okay, so I'll just do one thing. What you can do, you can add a ignore file here. So there are certain big files which you don't want to commit to your cloud, because it will occupy useless space which is not of any use. That is why we ignore certain aspects. Like, usually I've worked with Unity a lot. So here, as you can see, Unity is there. So it will remove all those binary files which are not required to be compiled at GitHub, although they might be required or important at certain persons. They might be important at certain person system. So that is the reason that we use this git ignore. Also, there's one more aspect, that certain whenever if we are using git ignore, we use it when we want to avoid any private data being pushed to the cloud. Okay, by private data I mean in your environment variables. Okay, what are environment variables? If you ask me, environmental variables are basically those important variables which contain your credentials. Okay, your credentials like your username, your passwords, uh, from which you access your database. Okay, your admin access, your database key, private key, password keys. Those all are which are required to run your application at the server. They are not being pushed to the GitHub, because again, if you directly push it, and in case your repository is public, the whole world will know that you have these and these credentials, and they can misuse it if you don't change it timely. So you must have seen that people have vibe coded their app. Okay, that vibe coding is leading to their losses, that everybody is able to use their keys. Either it is one of those hackings, or either it is this idiocracy. So that is why it is required that you also pertain, and now you also check that if you are not pushing some critical files to your GitHub. Okay, this is why git ignore is given. Now the add license, certain times you want to avoid certain people to use your repository as they see fit. Okay, and then they claim that this is was their project. So to avoid any issues and to copyright it so that it is your project, you use MIT license, you use Boost software license, you use Creative Commons Zero. Usually I have used MIT license. Otherwise, for this project we can say no license as well, because again it's not needed here. So this is what we are working with. So let's add a git ignore as well. Mm, which one should we use? We are really working with Java a little, or maybe we can just put Python one as well. Let's put Python one as well. Okay. So we'll just create a repository. Okay. That is how we create a repository. So after you have created a repository, it will also show you that you can add a README, and there will be one file .gitignore. If we click on it, there are certain Python files, and if you remember, these are those files which are used as binary so that it can support your project. Again, in every system wherever you go, it will be there. So it is not required to reread them or to push them again and again in the server, because again here you are just only storing these files. Okay. Now, coming to the main thing, that till this point it's all clear, we know how GitHub works and everything, but how do we push our code to the data? How do we push our code to the cloud? Okay, so we'll starting with this next section, which is important. Let me just set it up a little. I've already opened this Git and GitHub, so let me just log out myself from this so that we have a common ground. Sign into a GitHub account. Okay, if I just close it and I just remove this, add or remove programs. Let's keep the GitHub desktop. So let me just check if I have installed Git. So to check if you have installed the Git, you check Git version. Okay. So as you can see that it says Git version 2.54 Windows 1.1. Okay. So to give us the common ground, I'm going to uninstall it here itself. And uh, you can just simply go by two ways. Either you can go with the terminal, or you can just install it here itself. Again, if you're working on Linux or Mac, it will be a little bit different. I'm using Windows here. So keep some AI LLM open besides you so that you can, just ask the command that what command you have to pertain to in case whatever I am executing here. Okay. Now, if we want to remove this program, then just give me a minute. Add or yeah. Vishal, is there any query which has come? Important
Yes,
query.
I have one query.
Yeah.
Like when you are configuring config the GitHub profile, right?
Hmm.
So there are some files like git ignore or like license one. So we can
Hmm.
skip that in the initial part, right?
Yeah, we
If
can
we
skip
want.
that, but yeah, it's completely skippable. It's not mandatory. Okay, if you don't, if your project doesn't entail any usage of git ignore and everything,
Mhm.
you can go ahead and ignore it. Okay,
Okay.
and but
Later, if we
again,
want, we can add, right?
we can simply add it. If I'll show you that how it looks like whenever we are working with this Visual Studio. We'll be using Visual
Mhm.
Studio for this particular whole project, bootcamp project. Now,
Okay.
any other query, important query from people
No,
who are
no,
watching?
not right now.
Okay, okay. So as you can see that there's no Git right now. Okay. So first of all, as you're starting, just go to Git download. Now, as you can see, I'm not installing GitHub right now. I'm installing Git. So it clearly differentiates that Git is different
Mhm.
and GitHub is entirely different. Okay. So you'll get the first link, Git install. Go with Git install for Windows. In this, there will be multiple tabs: Windows, Mac OS, Linux, build froze. Okay. For me, this one works the best. Git for Windows X setup. This is a standalone setup, standalone installer. Again, easy way out rather than going and taking the whole portable and then porting it and extracting it out.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'll go with this and I'll click this. As soon as I click this, installation starts. Now, let me tell you one thing whenever we are working with this. So I've got this already installed here. Okay, got this already installed just to avoid. Okay, it's installed again, I guess. Yeah, it's here. So it is exactly the same thing. Okay,
Hmm.
so I'll just open this. Let me just install it. Just go with the next, next, and next. Don't have to use any brain here. Use Visual Studio Code as default. Don't use that. Just use Vim. Let's get decide. Just the name of the initial branch. It's let. Just click on next and next.
So we have to go just with the default option.
Yeah, just the default options. Nothing,
Mhm.
nothing tricky there. Okay.
Okay.
So meanwhile, it is getting installed. There are three certain approaches to how you want to work with it. Not three, sorry, two. One is your console. That if you want to be that hacker, if you want to look cool, then you can go with the console approach, where you just use console. Okay. Then there's another one using GUI. Sorry for the bad handwriting.
No, it's
GUI
pretty good.
is,
Yeah.
huh? I'm using mouse.
Oh, oh,
Graphical
nice.
यूजर इंटरफेस. अब तो बूस्ट मिल गया मेरे को. Okay, so this is console, this is graphical user interface. Graphical user interface, there are certain options. I've worked with plastic SCM. Okay, I've worked with your source tree. Source tree is free, so you can try this out if you want. Source tree, I'm also going to, it's right here, I've already opened it. Okay. Okay, so our GitHub is installed. I don't want to view the release notes. Now you will have this certain window, basically for the Git. Okay, just close it. Doesn't concern us right now. I also have GitHub desktop with me here. Okay, which I already exited. Now I don't have any permission here. I don't have any permission. If I try to push anything, if I try to even fetch it, okay, basically I can fetch it because it's a public repository, but if it would have been a private repository, it wouldn't have allowed me. Okay. If I push something, so GitHub is basically, as I was talking about, console approach and graphical user interface approach. So what is the difference between them? So console will be something like this. It will be a window like this. You will be using Git version. Okay. You'll be using this stuff and you will be saying Git status. Okay, so there's no repository, that's why it's throwing an error, but you will be doing this and you will be working with git config. Okay, git config global, I guess. I think I'm forgetting the command for the config. Let me just look it up real quick. Yeah, git config global. So what it does, oh yeah, it was git config list. Yeah, so basically it's all the credentials. I'm going to close it now. I forgot that I'm streaming right now. So yeah, okay, so this is basically what it does. You basically calibrate your whole project towards this. Okay, now coming back to the thing that if I create another account and if I try to push from this, then I will create a pull request. Okay, so if you want to look at it, I'm going to explain it using a chart, that how it works. And this is how you will be looking at it if you are working with a graphical user interface. So we are going to create a main branch. Okay, main branch. Why I'm writing it as a function. Main branch. Okay. Whenever you are, so suppose this is my, I am the user access here, VS. Suppose I create another profile named as Sudhanshu. Let's use him here. So Sudhanshu, basically, if I own this, I am the owner. And if Sudhanshu copies this, so copying here is basically called cloning. Okay,
Um,
copying here is called cloning. there's an option called clone. So whenever you clone a repository, that means you're basically copying that repository into your own local system or your own local branch. Okay. So Sudhanshu copied or cloned the repository. Now, if he makes some changes, suppose there was a file, example, suppose there was a file, this is a file, this is an example file. This was my original file. And if Sudhanshu changed something in this is new line added by S. Let's say S. Okay. Now, whenever he made this change, if it would have been my branch, I would have simply pushed it. Okay. Whenever we commit a change, okay, we call it push. Whenever we commit a change, whenever we say that yes, we are getting it done, okay, we are finalizing the whole change, then we say it push. It's like seal of approval that yes, this is done.
Mhm.
But for Sudhanshu, who is not the owner, if he tries to do the same, he will have to create a pull request. He'll have to create a pull request. That is called PR. This is the you know exhaustively used term in the whole corporate. PR. PR means pull request. So they will say, have you created a PR? Have you generated a PR? Have you done this PR? So this is basically your corporate lingo or slang, that is pull request. Okay. Now this was a little bit trivia that how the visual looks like. So what we are going to do for the visual aspect, we are going to create a repository. Okay, that we have already created, bootcamp repo. Okay. Now in this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a change. I'm going to make a change. These all dots represent a change. This change means made repository, made repo. This new change is that I'll be adding a file, add a file. Okay. This will be my goal for this particular exercise. Now let's go back and let's try to log in into this. So whenever you open GitHub desktop, okay. So now to install GitHub desktop, just say GitHub desktop. So whenever you click GitHub desktop, there will be download for Windows option. If I click on it, again, it will start downloading, which I don't want to right now. So I've already installed it, GitHub desktop. So you just click it and you just do the all the default option. Okay, all the default option. Basically, what it does, it gives you a graphical user interface that what changes you are doing and what change needs to be done. Okay. After you are done with all of the permissions, just you'll get something like this. So I'll just sign into the GitHub. So I've got the already things already set up. So I'll just authorize it, authorize desktop, open GitHub desktop. So as soon as the authorization is done, if I look at it, if I look at this, where was it? File options. You can see that I've already this window, particular window has changed. That means I am logged in now. Okay, that means I am
Mhm.
logged in now. Now I've already created that repository. Yes or no? This repo
Yes.
was already created. Is this getting boring?
No, 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 not at all.
Sure.
Like
So doubt
few
session
students
का
are
है
asking some
voice.
questions.
Okay. Project merge. Sir, explain Git, GitHub, and Git Bash. So Git is basically your version control. Okay. GitHub is where you host those version controls, where you host those all of the project. It's a cloud, nothing else. Cloud. Then Git Bash, it is where it's basically a language. You know Bash, right? Bash is the language of Linux, if you have worked with Linux. So that Linux is what helps us. Okay, I see there are lots of redundant comments are there. So Git Bash is basically your GitHub using that particular bash created specifically for it, the commands created for it, which we are going to work on. That basically what we are working in console is Git Bash only. Okay, that is all. The way of using Git through the console. Console, I mean that console window, this command prompt window, if you can, if you want to say it. Otherwise, it is Windows PowerShell. This is where we are going to use Git. So this Git version, this is also Git Bash. Okay, if I am clear. Sir, what is forking? नाइस सब लोगों को आगे भागना है ये टेस्ट करने आए क्या हम लोगों को ओके so keeping the modus operandi that you are able to work out how to host your project on the GitHub. That's what my goal for today's session is. But we will also talk about forking. Basically, we'll see. It will be there. Again, we are creating different branches. So now coming back to the topic, we have created a repository. Now we are going to add a file. But before that, there's a mini step between that. We also have to copy it from the cloud. Right now, the file is being hosted on the cloud. It's not on your system yet. It's not on your system yet. So this is basically on the cloud. It's not on our system. So to bring it on the system, we use Control C. We just basically copy the URL. If you have the URL, great. Then we are going to just simply add it using here. Just click on this drop down. Again, I have different project. That's why it's showing this. Clone repository. That will be your first way to go about it. Again, why we didn't use this create new repository, add exist? Yes, you can create a new repository. Again, it's the same thing. Again, up to you that if you want to create, but the difference will be it will be created before it will be created on your system. After that, it will be pushed. It will ask you to push on the cloud. But here, in the earlier approach, we are creating it on the cloud, then we are cloning it. That's the only difference. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to paste the URL here. Okay, and I'm going to clone it. So basically what it did, it cloned the whole repository. And we are going to open this in the VS Code. So let's open it in the Visual Studio Code. Now we have different folders here. Okay, so just open folder. In this we go to, so up to you wherever you have stored your GitHub projects. I have stored it in the GitHub in the bootcamp repository. So I'll just open it up. As you can see that there is, so it says yes, I trust the author. So again, we are the only authors here, so that's why I'm using it. This is git ignore file, the earlier file which you have created. Now basically at this point you have downloaded the whole thing into your local system. Basically you took the whole thing from the cloud and put it in your system. Now what we are going to do, we are simply going to keep a messaging service between them, so that you are simply able to the cloud knows that where you have changed the stuff, where you have changed the lines of codes, and you're also pushing it at the same time. Now whenever it is pushed to the cloud, when you're working in the corporate setting, it basically tells everyone in your company who's tracking that particular repository that this is the change which has happened. Just give me a moment. Okay, so this is git ignore. Now what we are going to do, we are going to create a simple file. Let's say our first file .txt. So in this we are going to just write, this is the first file we have created for the purpose of demonstration. Okay, this is what we are doing. Okay, this is the first file created for the purpose of demonstration. As soon as I'm done with this, if I go to the GitHub GitHub desktop, then you will see that something changed here. Okay, earlier there was nothing, but here you can see that there's a changes one, there's a changed file, there's this text, this file our first file .txt. Okay, this is the first file created for the purpose of demonstration. Is this clear? So what it did, we basically changed something. Now GitHub is powerful. GitHub desktop is powerful. It, whenever we do some changes and we save it, it is automatically showed that these are the changes you have done. These are the changes which are ready to be committed and pushed. Okay, we'll get to the change, the difference between committed and pushed. Okay. Now, whenever we have done this, whenever we are done with this, we are basically, we have made this. Okay. But this still doesn't exist from the version control, sorry, from the GitHub's perspective, because it is in the cloud, right? We have to push this change to the
Hmm.
cloud. Okay. So for the same reason, what we are going to do, we created our first GitHub file, or we can say we created our first text file monitored, being monitored by version control. Although the title should not be this long, but let's say it should be in the description, version control monitoring. Okay. So I can just do this, commit one file to main. Okay. Now it says push origin. So till this point, what happened? You, whenever you commit it, you basically stage the whole thing. You stage the whole thing. Till this point, you still have the option to revert back. Okay. So that it is not sent to the cloud. It is still not sent to the cloud. The reason, sorry, the proof is that committed just now, version control monitoring, undo. You can still undo it. Okay. You can still undo it. Again, not doing that. We'll do that in another example. Uh, so our first thing, that the commit is done. After that, we push it to, or we, this is the staging portion where we stage the changes. Okay, now we have these and these changes. Now from this point onwards, if we push it, then it will be sent to the cloud and it will be visible to everyone. So as soon as I do this, it pushes all of the content to the cloud. This, what it did, right now it's not updated, but as soon as I click the refresh button, I see the changes. There's new file,
Hmm.
our first file.txt, version control monitoring, the change what we did. And if we want to look at the actions, or if we want to look at what changed, just a moment, insights. I guess it was in insights. Yeah. So you can just look at whatever changes you have done, and you can see the two comments authored by Vimu. Okay, my username. And in case, if you want to look at it, look at the branches, how many branches are there? You can see that there's only one branch, that is main right
Main.
now. Now, what is a main branch? Main branch is the default branch. Whenever we create a repository, this branch will always be there. Okay, this branch will always be there. So going back to the repository, this branch will always be there. Now, coming to the next part, till this point you have reached here. Okay, this step is done. This step is done. This whole step is done. Now, what we are going to do in the next step, we are going to create another branch. Now, you will ask me, this branch will continue on its own. If anybody wants to change anything, they can. Right now, I am the only author here, or I am the only developer here. That is why this branch is kind of halted. But if there would have been another person, they could have worked on this branch uh, on their own system. It would not have bothered my own progress. So now, what, in companies, we don't work on the main branch. Okay, that's a taboo. You know taboo, right? Taboo means something which should not be done, which is something which is considered as very wrong. Okay, so main branch should never be touched. That's the first rule of the version control, because this is the very this is a holy branch where,
Hmm.
in case everything breaks, you can revert back to this. This is basically marks the pointer. So maybe let's say Instagram, if Instagram happened, it saw many changes throughout its phases. It was not like there was one change and they reverted back. Yeah, in certain cases they might have, but usually it doesn't happen. That is because they might have also maintained this main kind of branch, which takes the which takes the stable version of that application. Okay, so here we are working on the main branch. It doesn't matter because we are only working on a single project, and that's a very simple project. But do remember that don't ever use main branch. Main branch should not be altered with in companies. Okay, what you do, you create, whenever you want to make changes to a certain sub branch, then you create a feature branch. Okay, this particular point where we create a new branch is called forking. Okay, you must have seen the fork, right? Fork is basically this kind of structure is called fork. Yes or no? So this is also a fork. If you look at it, this is in the lateral version or the horizontal version of this fork. So this fork is why it is called forking, because we are, so fork is basically comes from the path. If you have traversed through the streets and if you looked at it, we say it kanta in Hindi. Okay, we say it kanta in Hindi, but here in English it is called fork. So this is a path of your application, but you want to work on a feature. So suppose you are working on a very high end kind of system where you are creating a new type of uh, application for that particular whole program. Okay, maybe a feature. Okay, so you created a different branch because again this is an experimental thing. You don't work with the experiments on the main branch. So what that is what we are going to do. We are going to create a fork. Now what we will doing, we will be switching to the terminal. Okay, first I'm going to make another changes. I'm going to push it using this git, but through the terminal itself or through the console, whatever you want to call it as. So right now I am in this C users. Okay, I'm going to change it to documents where my uh, content is, where the data is ls. So these are my multiple projects. Ls is basically listing a command in the bash where it lists all of the content which is there. So in this I'm going to use bootcamp repository, which was my original repository. Okay, now in this, as you can see that there are, when if I use ls here, so cd is basically change directory. You change the directory is folder. Okay, in Linux language it is called a directory, but in Windows it is called a folder. Now we switched, we state the different listings. Okay, there's a git ignore, the size and everything is given. Then there's our file.txt. These are the two changes. Now if we, so first of all we are going to check the status. This is a very important command, git status. What it does, it checks for the status, that is there anything which needs to be pushed, is there any content which needs to be committed to the cloud or the GitHub where we are tracking the changes. There's nothing. As it says, we are on the branch main and our branch is up to date with the origin main. Okay, this is our simple origin main, our simple tracking for us. Again, everything is being tracked internally. It's just the tracking for us. So git status, we just simply track it. Now I'm going to make some changes to my file. Okay, before going to this step, we are going to try the same thing here, what we did here. Just let me just, what we did here, we are going to try it again with the terminal. But here I'm not going to create another file. I'm going to use the same file. This is the GitHub file. Not GitHub file. This is the changed file, but being pushed using terminal, or let's say git bash. Okay. So git bash, again, somebody asked the doubt. Git bash is just basically a language. Okay, but it is originally a bash, but oriented towards the usage of Git. That's it. Okay, so this is the file change. Now I'm not going to open this Git desktop. Again, I will know at the very moment that yes, there's some change. But let's see how will it look like if we use Git status. Nothing to commit, working tree clean. There is one issue here that we cannot track what kind of code changed in the console. Okay, we cannot track that what code changed whenever we are talking with a git status. Yes, there are certain commands which we can use, but visually it will not be appealing. That's why to track the file, personally I use, wait a minute, why isn't it coming up? I think I didn't save it. Yep, I guess so. That's why it was not coming here as well. Yeah,
Mm.
again got confused a little bit. So yes, this is what I want to show. Here it is more graphically appealing. compared to this. Again, you don't know what changed here, right? But if you look at this, you know very well that what changed. Earlier it was this, now it is this new line which has been added. Clear? So again, it is up to you, whichever territory you want to traverse in. If you want to go with the console, go with the console. If you want to go with the GUI, graphical user interface, the applications, go with that. Again, what matters is that you get the work done. Okay, so git status gives us this. Now, if I want to stage this, okay, if I want to add this file, okay, yeah, this is the file which I want to push to the GitHub cloud. So I just use GitHub add dot. What dot means? It means that every file which is changed will be ready for commit. Okay, but there's only one file, so I'm going to use, again, I can use the dot as well. It takes away the whole headache of pushing every file one by one. So this is done. If I do git status, it says okay, this is modified and this is staged as well. Okay, now it is ready to commit. So what I will use here, as you can see, I use git add. In this, whenever there are two steps to push the change to the cloud. Again, it's like a safe check. So if you have already made changes and you have want to push it, first check is there that are you sure you want to commit it? Yes, commit. Now it again asks you, it is committed. This commit will be visible to people which are working on the local network. But if you want to show it or make it visible to the people who are working out of this network, that is working from internet, then you have to push it to the cloud. So here there are two steps. Git commit. In this, git commit m, and I'm going to add the file was changed via terminal. Okay, the file was changed via terminal. This commit is there. But uh, if I look at the public repository, is there any change here? There is no change. Okay, so what I'm going to do, git push you. Now, you might be thinking that what is this M? M basically stands here for message. Whenever we are committing, there are two options for us. Either we give a message or either we don't give a message. So to keep the formatting better and to make the other person understand what we have pushed, we use git commit M dash M, and then we write the message. Here u is git push u. What it does, it is basically upstream. Now upstream is basically a pointer that to which branch you are working on. Okay, here I am working on the main branch. Okay, so that's why it doesn't matter. So if I just write git status, okay, I'm just working on main branch. Okay, your branch is ahead of origin main by one commit. Okay, this origin main is, what is this origin main? This origin main is my cloud file, sorry, cloud branch. There are two branches working parallelly. One is my cloud branch, one is my local system branch. If I am clear, git status. So there's one commit which needs to be done. So we are going to do that. Let me just clear it again. Let's just do it here. Git push u origin main. Okay, as soon as I do this, again, there are two ways to it. Either I can just use git push. It will also do the same job because again, my pointer is towards the branch main. I don't have to work on it. So if I just do this, it will still get the job done. Okay. But in case I'm working with multiple branches, it might cause some issues. That's why, to avoid any upstream errors or any pointer errors, suppose I'm pointing to another branch and I'm pushing, thinking that I'm on that branch, I'm pushing on to some different branch, that can cause issues and it will lead to some errors. So that is why it is safe that you use the full thing, origin main. Now there are certain things which you might be confused about, that what is this origin? Origin is basically the URL. Okay, origin is basically the URL. This URL, this is the URL I'm talking about. This URL is basically equal to origin. And whenever you are accessing the main, so suppose I try to access the main, if I go to the branch main, this yeah, sorry, okay, this one. So whenever I see this, then this branch main is what we are trying to access using this. Okay, we are trying to access using this. Okay, so now it says origin does not appear to be a Git repository. Okay, I guess I messed it up a little. I think this much is enough. Git push u origin. Okay, sorry. So basically we have only one branch, so we don't need to define it exclusively. Okay, but I guess I think I used the wrong hyphen. Is it this one? Okay, I think we'll get to it when we work with multiple branches. I guess there's only one branch, so there's no need. Okay, so is this clear till this point? Any doubts, any issues, anyone?
So students are asking about M.
So M is basically the message. If you heard it,
So it's
M
completely
is
optional, right? With it's depend upon us whether we want to
completely
use a message or
optional.
not.
Yes. So if I just made other changes, suppose I delete this file, delete this line, and if I go back and let's clear this, and I say git status. Okay, there's another change in the file. I say git add. Okay, git add dot. Now I'm going to use add dot. Now if I check git status again, and I do git commit. Now m was message. Whenever I use m, then I write message behind it. Hello. Okay, but now I am not using this m. If I just do git commit, it will open a new window where I'm going to do the checks one by one, which is which I don't wanna recommend honestly. It is kind of, you know, the layout is kind of it's a
Hmm.
big issue for someone who's just starting with the concepts. Okay,
Right.
even I also forgot about it. Control C was the one, right? Yeah, press enter to abandon all changes. Just I think I started the Vim. I think X was the command or C was the command. Wait, am I even going in the right direction? Just leave it. So what we can just simply, so I'll not recommend going with the no message approach, because again there it is useful when you are rebasing. Okay, that rebasing part I'll talk about it. Just give me a moment. Just let me just change the directory git documents GitHub and ls cd bootcamp repository. Okay, yes. So now earlier our status was git status. We had this file, so git commit m. Now you can go with this approach. Otherwise, again we saw that that particular vm, we don't usually use it, but we use it when we are rebasing. Git rebase. When we are rebasing, we'll talk about the rebase. Just give me a few moments. Git commit. So here just do m and deleted the changes. Okay, now we git push u origin, or git push u origin main. Just git push u main, or just origin itself right now. Okay, so this is basically the basically we pushed our files to the main. But I think we have delved enough on this and we kind of understand that what's happening. Is this clear, everyone? Was the doubt clear for the m? Can we use IntelliJ directory? Yes, we can use IntelliJ directly. um, I mean, it's up to you. I can see semester batch here. Okay, March. Let's combine. Okay, so what is? Okay, yeah. So this was our simple bootcamp repository, uh, which we created. Now, to just give me a moment. I think my internet is lagging. Yeah. Okay. Is it visible? So as you can see that there's a new change that deleted the changes, and if we click on the file, then we see that there's a difference. That it got changed. And if we go to the history, we'll look at the whole history, that there are three changes which have been done. Version control monitoring, that was the first change. Then file was changed by terminal. We added one more line, if you remember. Then we deleted the change. Okay. Now what we are going to do, we are simply, so you might be thinking that what it looks visually. Okay, so why Saurav Ganguly? I was trying to search for source tree. Okay. Huh. So in this, what we are going to do, we are going to add it using browse. Okay, didn't expect that. Okay, so this is how this version control looks like. Whenever, if you're working with the graphical user interface, better graphical user interface, there you see these line. So this is what I'm also creating here in this. So now we are going to fork it. Okay, we are going to fork it. That is, we create another branch. This branch is called feature branch. This branch is called feature branch. Okay. So in this, what we are going to do, we are going to go to the terminal and we are going to look at the git status. So there's a simple command which you can do, git checkout b, and you name the feature branch name. So I'm just not going to very create about it. Being lazy, I'll just name it as feature branch. That's it. Now what's happening here? Checkout is basically what it does. It switches your branch from one branch to another branch. Okay, and B basically creates the new branch. Okay, it creates the new branch. So right now the current modern way of doing it is switch C feature branch. What it does, it switches your branch. That is, it switches from one branch to another, and C basically means it creates a new branch. So if I click this, then we switch to a new branch and we get this C. So if we look at the git status, we are on branch git feature branch, nothing to commit, working tree clean. But this branch is not yet pushed on our GitHub, okay, because this is created locally. So if we look at the repository again and we look at the branch, one branch, there's only one branch, right? There's
Hmm.
no,
Me.
there's nothing else. So to create a new branch, we say git push u origin and we say feature branch. I guess it's not working. I think I'm forgetting this command. Okay, to push the current branch, set the remote as upstream, use git push set upstream origin feature branch. Okay, we'll do what it says. So basically there's no branch right now. And as you can see that it already says the publish new branch. Okay, so either we can go with this way, this is the visual way, or we can go with the console way. I think I might be forgetting the name, exact name of the command. So just skipping that step altogether, I'm just going to push it using this publish branch. So as soon as I do this, as soon as I publish this branch, when I go to this and I refresh it, you'll be able to see that there are new branch created, feature branch, and this is the active branch which I'm working on right now. Okay, is this visible to everyone?
Yes, yes, it is visible.
We are in this corporate stuff, it would be better. I think I already did PR. Okay. So PR is basically, we have already talked about it. I think I already have it on this. So PR is basically pull request. Okay. So pull request is basically, we'll get to it. So whenever, I think we took the Sudhanshu and my example where we created two branches, where we created two users. Okay. We'll get to it again if you want. Now, is this clear? When we created the pull request, sorry, we created a new branch. Now a new branch is created. Okay. Git status, feature branch. Okay. And in this, if we again open it, bootcamp repository, right now there is no did the changes. Okay, I think there is remote. just a moment. I think it's not updating, I guess. एक minute. Pull करना. Let's pull or fetch as we say it. Okay, it's already there. The branch is already there. It's just waiting for the push. Okay. So now what we are going to do, we are going to create another file .txt. Okay. This is another file made for being pushed to another branch. Okay. When we created this, and when we look at our git status, it says another file was added and we are on the branch this, and your branch is up to date with the branch feature. So we know that we are on this branch and we are also tracking this branch only. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to git push you origin feature branch. Why is it throwing error right now? So if we do this, okay, I think I didn't follow the proper steps. Let's do it again. Git status, git add. Okay, we basically added it again, and we check the git status again. Then we commit git commit m. This is another file we added to track new branch. Okay, we changed, new changes have been made, and we have a git status. Then we have a feature branch, and feature branch is looking at the branch. So git push u origin. Okay, now we have made changes to the feature branch. Okay, we have made changes to the feature branch and we are working on it right now. So if we go back to the source tree, I'm not sure why it's not updating. Let's fetch it again. Fetch. Okay, this is another file we added. Okay, let's try to add one more file so that just to check it. Let's make another change. This is another change to the repository, to the branch. I am really hell bent on showing you the visual aspect of it. Okay, so let's do the same thing again. We check that what has changed. Git status, this has changed. Git push u origin, not origin, sorry. Git add, git status. So this has been added. Git commit m, and in this we are going to write new changes push to new branch again, and in this git push u origin, or we can just simply use git push. Okay, what it will do, it will basically push all of the changes into the feature branch itself. We don't have to do anything. And if we fetch again, I hopefully think, okay, I'm not sure why it's not showing the another file. We add it. Okay. Okay, so basically what I wanted to show you is how, so till this point what we have done, we created this. Let me just change the color. We created a new file. Then we created a repository. We created a new file. I'll say nf. Then we created new branch nb. Then in that new branch we created new file. Okay, and this branch is already going on. And then we will try to merge these back into one. Okay, it should have looked something like this, but I'm not sure that why it's not coming up right here. Okay, let's try another stuff. Let's try to git switch to main. Okay, we switch to main, the status. Okay, this seems to be clean. Now what we'll try to merge it with our another branch. That was our feature branch. Git merge feature. The name was feature branch, right? Yes, feature branch. As we did this, we ultimately added these two files and these changes. Okay, and we get this git status. Now we just have to commit. We have to push this git push. When we do this, it pushes the changes to main file. Okay, I hope it has made the changes now. Okay, I'm not sure that why it's not showing this. But what happened here is, as you can see, that we are now on the main branch and this is the feature branch. Okay, if we want to create a pull request, then we see that there is no change. That means that our main branch is on the same level as our feature branch. Okay, so there's no difference among them. So this is how this is another file we added to track new branch. I think I didn't commit the change. That's why. Just let's try one more thing. We will switch to another branch. Git switch feature branch again. Okay. We are already on the feature branch. Your branch is up to date with the origin feature branch. Okay. Thank you for that. Trying to get the visual cues in source tree. Okay. Now, what will happen? We have this again. If we go to this, then we'll get the same thing, get status, and we'll get that. We again do the git add. Now, you at this point you might be well versed with the commands. Git commit m, and in this we are going to write changes made to check for PR, to create PR, check for pull request. Okay, git push. Now, as you do this, we pushed our data to feature branch. Now, what I will do, I'll go to my browser, okay, or I can just go to this itself and I can create a pull request. Again, it will take me to the same place that we'll have to go to the browser. Now, it says ability to merge. Okay, what it means that sometimes in certain cases somebody might have worked on that particular file as well. Okay, example, if I want to showcase it to you, then what we can introduce some error that we get switch. So look at this file carefully. This is the file, and if I try to switch back to git switch, let's we are switching to main again. As soon as we switch to it, and if I click on it, you can see that there were 3 lines earlier. Now it is only 2 lines. So if I change it, this is new line added in main only. And if I do this and I push it, git status, if I push it, that okay, let's add git add dot git commit m. This is a new file line. I'm just writing anything at this point. So now git push, if we just do git push as we are on the main itself, then if we go back, okay, now we switch back to feature branch. If we create a pull request, if we try to create a pull request now, can't automatically merge. The reason being because we worked on the same file, it caused conflict. Now in that conflict, we have to manage it on our own. Okay. So now I will write. So usually whenever you are working with other teams, so your organization head might have given you something. There you have worked on some certain file. And when you try to create a pull request, it might have caused some error. Okay. Now what I do, created new feature and worked on, in on which file we worked on? We worked on our first file, and worked on our first file.txt. Now if I try to, I will create a pull request. Okay, right now I am the author here itself, so I don't even need to get any permission. But in organization the flow is like this: whenever you create a conflict, or whenever you create a pull request, you don't have the authority to merge the whole thing on your own, until unless you are SD2 or SD3. Okay, but when you are starting, you're not given that authority, given the same reason that you might mess it up. Just to avoid that, they don't give you the authority. But here I have the authority. The window you saw is your window, and this is the window which you are seeing right now, is the window of the person who is in the charge. Okay, right now I'm in charge of this. So I saw that there's a pull request created by some guy. Okay, I went there, I check. Okay, there, this branch has conflict that must be resolved. Now this is the tricky part where you need to check for the conflicts and need to work on them. So it says this is the first file created for the purpose. This is the another file changed to the branch. Now trying to get the visual cues in the source tree. This is a new line added. Now it says incoming change is there. Now what is incoming change? Right now I'm standing at main branch. Okay. I am looking at the branch which is coming. That the changes are coming from the feature branch. This line is from the feature branch. Okay. Okay. I guess I am on the current branch. Feature branch and main committee changes. Okay. My bad. I mixed it up. Right now we are on the feature branch, and the commit is coming from the main branch. Okay, some, let's say a huge software update is there, and you are taking the whole content to the feature branch. Now this is the current change, that feature branch. In the feature branch, this is a change, this is a change, trying to get the visual cues in source. Okay, this is the new line add in. So you have three options mainly. Accept current change. Okay, current change is this, that this is the change you are getting, the feature branch, this is the current version. Either you accept the incoming change that is coming from the main branch, or you accept both the changes. Let's say we accept both the changes. That is how this conflict is resolved. Three ways: either you use the source is basically your current one, either you get it from the destination, sorry, source destination. Okay, source is basically from where that change is coming from. Here, that is the main branch. The destination, that is you are getting the change, right? So that is your destination, that is the destination. You have three options: either you use the source, either you take the changes from the main, either you take the changes from your feature branch, or either you take the both. Here I take the both, and I mark it as resolved. As soon as I mark it as resolved, it allows me to commit the merge. And when I commit the merge, this happens, and this case is resolved. And I'll say case, the case is resolved. Okay, I didn't merge that. Okay, I need to merge it. Confirm merge. That still not merged. Now it is merged. I'll say comment, the case is resolved. So we have multiple options. As you can see that this is like a social media, right? You are basically working with multiple aspects, and you are working as a social media, and people can see that where you are changing the changes and where you are making the changes. Okay, so that is why this GitHub is very popular. So if we fetch what happened in that, see, this is what I was trying from the very get-go. This was the architecture I was trying. Here, as you can see, the changes were made for the pull request. Then there was some change. This is a new file line which I created. Then at the very end, here you can see that merge main into feature branch. When we merge the main branch into feature branch. Now this was my bad that I merged the branch in the opposite direction, but I wanted to do this. So this was basically your merging and how you push up your data. Also, for the pull, you basically fetch the things. Whenever you are working, whenever you start with any project, always pull origin, because there might be change, okay, which you need to get before starting with anything. So feature branch got the changes, main branch also might have got the changes, but we merged at the last with the main branch, so it is kind of, it doesn't need to be fetched. So even still we do the fetch origin. That's our normal practice. This is basically what it does. It basically pulls all the changes from your cloud to your system. So yes, Vishal, that was it from my end, I guess. I hope it was clear. Hello.
Yes, Vimarsh. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, I spoke a lot. Any
Yeah.
doubt, any questions?
No, no. For my side, it's totally clear. Like,
Okay, so yeah, any
so
doubts,
guys,
anything?
yeah. So guys, coming to the certification part. So to get the participation certificate, you need to complete a small project, right? So you have to submit any project, right, in your GitHub. First of all, you need to create a public GitHub repository. Then you need to upload any project of your choice. At least make at least three meaningful commits, right? Then you need to add a proper README file explaining your project. Okay. And at the bottom of your README file, you can add like a built with love with CipherSchool so that we can know, okay, you have done this. So once your project is completed, you can share the GitHub repo link through the Google form. That Google form will be shared in your WhatsApp group after this session. Okay. So apart from this, you also need to attempt a short quiz, and you need to score at least 60%. Okay. Also, the quiz link will be shared after the session, and you can attend that. Okay. So you need to do this both the things, like you need to complete the quiz and the project within the given deadline, as only the eligible submissions will receive the participation certificate. Okay. Yeah. So that's all from my side. Okay. I think you learned something valuable today. Like you got a better understanding or command on Git and GitHub, right? So it's now your turn to practice or explore the GitHub or start building your own GitHub profile, right? So that's all, yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, and special thanks to you, Vimash, for taking out the
Thank
time
you.
and guiding all of us, right?
Yeah, it's my pleasure. The thing is, as I can see, that Git is difficult. Yes, Git is difficult. Again, everything you're starting with is difficult, and of course, programming. We are visualizing all of the stuff. So I will say, Varshit, instead of diving into the console one, just go with the GitHub desktop. Okay, that will be a good starting point. You don't have to worry about much, and first start hosting your project. Then after that, because again, it was little bit of the advanced concept as well. It's not just a basic concept which I took up. Okay, again, basic concept was just that pushing your changes to the GitHub. That's it. But I wanted to take it up one notch. That's why it took time. Yeah.
So Void Flex 123, we will share the link in your bootcamp group. Okay, so you can check it from there.
Okay, guys. I guess that was it.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, guys. Take care. Happy learning and all the best. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Mersh. Goodbye. Goodbye, all.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining.